Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about my favorite foundations from 2017. These either launched in 2017 or I was late to the game and discovered them in 2017. And I'm going to go through my top 10/11. I'm sorry, I know, what is a countdown without a YouTuber adding in an extra one because they just can't pick. But I'm going to be counting down my top picks that I absolutely love. These are the best of the best. And for you, if you're deciding what to buy, just think about the packaging, the price, the shade range, the availability for you, and figure out which one works for you, because I absolutely love and recommend all of these, but I am going to be counting down to a number one. This video is also in collaboration with two amazing YouTubers. First of all, if you're looking for new people to follow, they're amazing, but they're going to be covering a combination and dry skin reviews if you have a different skin type. So Bailey B, who is fabulous, I have talked about her many times before. She's going to be covering the combination skin, and if you have not watched her videos, she's just so concise, to the point, but really fun and entertaining. Great videos. And then makeup by Cheryl, who I've also mentioned before. She is Canadian. She does the most beautiful tutorials, tons of foundation reviews, and Canadian beauty videos as well. She's going to be covering dry skin, so both of their videos will be linked down below. Be sure to go check them out, send them some love, but let's go ahead and get started. I want to kick it off with an honorary mention, and if you're looking for more information on any of these foundations, I have done wear tests, flash photo tests, all that good stuff linked down below for each and every one of them. But honorary mention, it goes to the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Foundation. This is a little bit newer to me, and I really love the way that this looks on the skin. It, as I mentioned in my review, it just has this like luxurious look to it. It feels really expensive, has a great amount of coverage. It's not as full coverage as some of the foundations that I'm going to mention today, but really beautiful coverage. It has a pump, a good shade range, and I really enjoyed the way this looked on the skin. It's an honorary mention because although it was beautiful on the skin and wore really nicely, I was oilier at the end of the day with this foundation than I was with any of these other foundations that I'm going to mention. That to me is not a big deal. I have incredibly oily skin and I have no problem powdering and blotting a little bit, and I do still wear this. I do really enjoy it, but that is why he is an honorary, or she is an honorary mention. So on to the official picks. Number 10 is the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. I really enjoy this foundation, but the reason it's coming in at number 10 is because, first of all, you're getting 0.43 fluid ounces in here, which is less than half the size of an average foundation, but it still retails for like $14. So you're really getting a small amount of product in here, and I don't think that the pigmentation is as high as it claims. If this had insane pigmentation, you put 2 drops on the face and you got amazing coverage, then you only needed half a fluid ounce, fine, but I don't think that's the case. Also, for oily skin, I find this works best in really light applications, which is better because you're not going to use it all up. But when I was layering this up in my review to build coverage, which I never really got to much more than medium, it definitely left me looking oily. But when I put just a couple drops of this on my face, it has this beautiful velvety finish, lasts much nicer on the day, it stays much more matte. So if you do have an oilier skin type, I definitely recommend this in a lighter application, and it was great for days when I wanted really light makeup, but I just don't think it lives up to the claims of being as high coverage as it says you can get to, as at least if you have oily skin. But I do absolutely love this in a more light application. Moving on to number 9. I wish I had some like cool graphics or music or something. We're bare bones here. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Insta Filter Foundation. I was so skeptical of this when I tried it for a number of reasons. I just am a huge fan of the Revlon Color Stay. I think it's fabulous, and I don't feel like that there's much that can live up to this. Also, just the packaging of this made me really doubt it. It's also quite pricey. It can retail anywhere between like $17 to $25 here in Canada or the United States, which is interesting because normally the States has much better prices, but this is definitely a higher price tag. Again, you're getting 0.91 fluid ounces in here, so just under the average size of a foundation. But the reason that this is coming in at number 9 for me is the packaging and slightly the price. The foundation itself, I love. I think it has a beautiful light medium buildable coverage. You can definitely get it to medium. I thought it wore absolutely beautiful on the skin, felt really comfortable, really lightweight, blended like a dream. You are only getting 12 shades in this line, which is less than the Color Stay, so I would love to see more shades in here as well. But because it has this blender on the top, which isn't horrible, it's the best of like the gimmicky blender attachments that I've seen. It absorbs product, it makes it messy, and it would just be such a better foundation if it didn't come in that format, because it's just kind of like a barrier to entry. But all of that aside, I absolutely do love this. If you can find your shade in it, if you find it on sale, I definitely recommend you try it. Coming in at number 8 is a stick foundation. It's the Smashbox Studio Skin Shaping Foundation. I love this. I love it. I love it. I think it's just so incredibly easy. Stick foundations for me, you just draw it on, you blend it out, it doesn't drag, it doesn't feel heavy, it feels really light. You're getting a nice light to medium coverage out of this. And for me, why this is just such a top pick for me is this contour side. If you do any cream contouring, if you've been curious about it, watch my review on this. You'll see how easy this is to draw on the skin, blend it out. It has a beautiful natural finish. Don't be scared of cream contour. You can go really lightly and it can give you a more natural look than some powder products sometimes. So I think that this is absolutely beautiful. However, it is not the most matte foundation ever, but it still wears beautifully on the skin. So if you have oily skin, but you hate that feeling of tightness, of something too matte, but you still want something that's gonna last all day, be really, really comfortable, I think that this is so nice. It is so easy just to travel with it, to apply first thing in the morning. You're getting ready for work. You're gonna get that longevity out of it, but you're not getting that super matte feeling. I think that this could also be great for combination normal skin types, and you are getting a decent amount of foundation in here, plus that bonus contour, so I just think it's fabulous. Moving on to something that is more matte, this is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Wear Foundation. This really impressed me. If you're looking for something that has quite high coverage but still buildable and is actually very matte on the skin and stays quite matte throughout the day, I think that this is a really good option. It has about 20 different shades in the range. If you have a drier skin type combination, I don't know that you would love this so much. You may need to add a little bit of moisture in there, but it just wore so nicely on the skin. As you saw in my review, this was quite a bit too light for me, so I definitely need to add some bronzing drops, or perhaps I'll pick up another shade. But as for all of my shades, they're as always listed down below. Nice glass bottle. It's got a pump in there. It definitely is on the higher end of things, but if you were curious about it, it definitely is quite matte, and I really love the way it wore on my skin. And with any of these foundations that I'm recommending, none of them oxidized, patched off, did any weird things, or otherwise they would not be here in the top 10. For whatever reason, MAC has been one of my favorite brands for a really long time, but it's taken me a long time to jump onto their complexion products, which is really bizarre because foundation is one of my favorite things, MAC is one of my favorite things, and it just took me a long time to put the two together, but I'm glad that I've started doing it. My next pick is the MAC Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation, and the only reason that this is coming ahead of the Laura Mercier, because this one isn't as matte, but I still like that. I don't need everything to be incredibly matte on the skin. I just want something that looks really, really beautiful, is natural, but if you, for example, want something more matte, then Laura Mercier will be your pick. But this is just so glorious on the skin. This is something that I wore a ton after I first purchased it. I wore it in the day, I wore it in the night. I wore it for more glam looks, I wore it for more natural looks. It just has such a beautiful finish on the skin, really, really natural. I think it could actually be good for the majority of skin types, and it just is so comfortable. It feels really good. It truly feels nourishing, and it doesn't feel moisturizing. It doesn't feel greasy or dewy or glowy or anything like that. It just really feels nice on the skin. If you missed this review, I actually did a waterproof test and like sprayed a whole bunch of water on my face, and it performed really, really well. It actually almost looked better after I dumped a glass of water on my face. It had this like beautiful dewiness. So I really, really like this one. You are only getting 0.84 fluid ounces in here, so a little bit less than the average, which is kind of a bummer, but you are getting quite a few shades in here as it is a MAC foundation. So this next foundation is an interesting one for number 4. I actually reviewed it twice, partially by accident. If you missed any of my mystery foundation reviews, those will be linked down below in the playlist as well. But this is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I reviewed this for the 12 Days of Foundation twice, once as a standalone review and once as a mystery foundation, and it was just a whole thing. If you missed it, all linked down below, but I really truly do love this foundation. I will say on application, you definitely need to use the right brush, sometimes the right primer, but at the end of the day and throughout the day, it just looks phenomenal. This is a foundation that I reached for a ton when I had anything kind of special to do. I wanted something really, really high coverage. I always got so many compliments when I wore this on my skin. People who were like even really up close. It definitely isn't like super lightweight by any means. It is a full coverage foundation, full, like extreme full. Not something I would wear every day, but I did feel comfortable wearing it out in the daytime, which is not something I always feel about super full coverage foundations. So just be careful when you are applying this. You may want to spray your face with a Fix Plus. I love the Tarte Ready Set Radiant spray. But it just looks so good. I was really scared off in my mystery foundation review about the texture of it because it leans moussey, and I really hate moussey feeling foundations, but this does just wear so beautifully on the skin. I think it is so good. I wear the shade Cafe or Bamboo. The shades are a little bit interesting. They're a little bit olive, but if you can find your shade and you're looking for something really high coverage but still beautiful on the skin, this is such a good one. I just realized I said that foundation was number 4. It was number 5. Moving on to number 4. This is another foundation that I reached for a ton, both day and night. I could not stop wearing this no matter if I had a 12-hour day or a 4-hour day, or if I was going to an event at night, or I was just here filming. This is such a beautiful foundation, and this is high-end. You're not getting a ton of product in here. It is a high price tag, but I'm putting this at number 4 because I truly feel like this is an amazing foundation. I think that it looks incredible on the skin. You can go really light, you can build it up to quite full, blends out really nicely, and it's just luxurious, but it actually performs incredibly well throughout the day. So this is definitely a high price item, but I think it is absolutely worth it if it is in your budget. If you were curious if it was actually any good or just super hyped up, I think it's incredible. Moving on to number 3, I was really confused about which one should be at number 2, which one should be at number 3. It kind of depends on the coverage that you're looking for, but number 3 for me is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. So many of you have said that you loved this foundation, and it's very rare that I can get like a resounding recommendation for anything because everybody has such different skin types, preferences, whatever it may be, but I think that this is such a good everyday foundation if you like medium coverage. This is $45 Canadian, which is actually a decent price for Sephora, but what makes it even more valuable or has even better value is the fact that you're getting 1.6 fluid ounces in here, so that's a foundation and a half. A lot of these foundations, kind of the average that I've mentioned is 1 fluid ounce. This technically is 4 times the size of that NYX foundation. So if you bought that NYX foundation 4 times over because it's like $14, then here you have it. This is the Too Faced foundation. So I think that this has a beautiful light to, it's buildable, definitely to medium for sure. I love the way that this wears on the skin. It blends out beautifully. It does have that peach scent, but it wears away. It doesn't stick around. I wear the shade Sand, or no, sorry, I have Sand in my hand, but I wear the shade Honey, which is a little bit neutral for me. It doesn't look weird on my skin or anything like that, and this is just something that I've been absolutely loving wearing on the day-to-day. I think it's a really comfortable foundation. It feels really good on the skin. I would just love to see some more shades in there, but otherwise I think it's great. Coming in for the silver medal is the foundation I'm wearing today. I actually meant to wear the number 1 foundation today, and I just totally spaced on it. Either way, this is the foundation I'm wearing today, and the one that I have been wearing a ton all throughout December when I wasn't testing a foundation. I was basically wearing this on and off. It is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Foundation. This is another foundation that you haven't recommended to me, but you've been asking, should I buy this? Is this worth my time? And it's really freaking good. It's so incredibly full coverage because you're getting 0.7 something fluid ounces in here, again less than the full fluid ounce, but what I'll say about this, the difference between this and something like the NYX is that there truly is so much pigment in here. It is just chock-a-block with pigment. You can put a few dots on your face, get a really beautiful near full coverage foundation, then a few more dots and you're like extreme full. So really impressed with that. The price tag is quite high, but it looks beautiful on the skin. It wears really long without a lot of blotting or any kind of prep work or anything like that. It is just so good. If you have a more dry skin type, I don't know that you're gonna love this because it is on the matte side, but it's still not super flat. It doesn't feel tight or uncomfortable, and I'm so impressed with this. So if you were waiting for my go ahead on this, I'm giving you the green light. But as always, if you're curious about any of these foundations that are available at Sephora, get a sample, try it out for yourself, and then you'll be able to determine if it's gonna be something worth your time and money. So moving on to number 1, I don't know that you're gonna be surprised about this. You may have already checked the description box. You may be wondering why I haven't mentioned this foundation yet. And when I was putting this list together, there was a lot of debate about what was gonna go where and why I was gonna put it there and whatever, because these are all great foundations that I do recommend, and I really do like all of them, but I still did want to give you the pros and cons. But this foundation, there was no question in my mind that this was going to be number 1. and it's also just really surprising to me. When I got this, I wasn't expecting to love it so much. I don't know why, but it's incredible. And I have recommended it so many times. I've had so many of you tell me that you also loved it. Like 9.5 people out of 10 have told me they loved it. This seems to be the foundation that I have recommended that the most of you have picked up, and it's so good. It's the BareMinerals Bare Pro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. This stuff is so good. They have quite a large shade range. You're getting the full fluid ounce in here. I wear 21 or 22 depending on if it's winter or summer. This wears so long on the skin. I wear this when I don't want to have to blot. At the end of the day, my face looks incredible. Bronzer, blush, highlight, everything is still in place. It's super low maintenance. Doesn't feel like it's going to transfer all over the place. If you pick up any of these foundations, I recommend this one, although I do love all the other ones, but this one to me is just so good. You can get it to near full coverage, you can go medium, you can go light. It depends how much you want to put on your skin. It just wears beautifully, and it's just such a good one. So those are my top picks for 2017. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a few ideas about what you may want to pick up. I know there was a lot of high-end luxury foundations in here. For whatever reason, I tried a lot of them and loved a lot of them in 2017. I do have 2 videos highlighting my favorite drugstore foundations for oily skin, which will be linked down below. I love drugstore foundations. I love them. They are some of my favorites, but for whatever reason, this was the year of luxury and I came across a lot that I loved. Be sure to go send some love to Bailey and Cheryl. You will love them. They are absolutely amazing. And if you would like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!